After testing hundreds of different formats of short form videos, I've found only 3 that actually convert into high intent leads and high ticket clients. And these proven formats will help scale your business to new heights without struggling to be consistent with content creation. So I've been creating short form content specifically for 5+ years, okay? I've generated 120 million views, okay, just for myself on one channel, okay? And most importantly, attracting high ticket clients now with just 1,000 followers on Instagram. But I've also helped my client add 70k to his business with only 4k followers, and my client Devin drastically increased his show and close rate for his multiple 7-figure agency, and he's scaling to $1 million a month right now. So I've also helped a load of other people. I'll try and put it on the screen, or you can check out the first link in the description. Scroll down, there's loads of clients' results there. So now you know why I'm credible, let's get into the video. So I'm gonna go a bit smaller here so I can explain in more detail and so you can see the screen. And by the way, you can get all of these content formats in the second link in the description. So if you just wanna steal them, you can. But anyway, the first format is called, I like to call anyway, the tier ranking system. So what you're going to do with this short form video is basically take things within your industry and rank them from F tier to S tier. And you can take multiple things. An example of this with my client Rick is we've taken the best thing to say to a seller when reaching out to buy a business, but we've also taken the best businesses to buy versus the worst ones, okay? So you can take multiple things within your industry and create this format of content, which is why it's so good, because you can also low-key shift beliefs of your ideal client, overcome objections, and answer questions and concerns, which will lead them to be pre-sold when they book in a call with you. And that's the whole point of content. The whole point of content should be, yes, to get more attention, but also nurture that attention so they are pre-sold. So when they hop on a call with you or your sales team, they just say, yo, just send the invoice, man. I've seen all your content. I have no questions. I have no concerns. Let's just get started. I just wanted to get a bit more information. That's all. That should be what your content is doing. Okay. And this type of content, this format of content does that. And a good thing about this is it does add an entertaining aspect to the video. So whatever you say, I don't care what anyone says, even if you're a very high level entrepreneur, you're on social media to be slightly entertained. Whether you want to get value from that entertainment or just be entertained in general, just having a break, you want to be slightly entertained as well as get value. And this is why this is such a good format, because it adds value but also entertains slightly, okay? Because you're seeing like a tier list, okay? Which actually holds retention, which means your video will get pushed out to more of your ideal clients. So one client's version of this got around 3,600 views on Instagram. It was repurposed to TikTok for an additional 4k views and about 20 interested leads from this video. Then we repurposed this on YouTube Shorts as well for another 3,600 views. But these are high intent viewers, as I said, because we're shifting the beliefs of them, because the people who are going to stay on this video are the person's ideal client, because we're making sure we're tailoring that video to them. So if you see a video that says the top businesses to buy or the top things to say to a seller when trying to buy a business, you're only going to stay on that video if you want to buy a business and if you're actively looking to learn how to buy a business. This is just an example for my client, okay? And this is why it is so important, going off topic a bit, to understand your ideal client, because you want to understand what they're thinking, what they want to learn, and so you can actually tailor your content to them. And yes, I am on a treadmill right now. If you're wondering where I'm walking to, I hope you don't mind. So you're probably wondering, why do these tier rankings work for specifically 6 to 8 figure entrepreneurs, because that's who I'm speaking to. And I will show you an example of this video format as well. But first of all, it controls the conversation. When you rank things, you're setting the frame. You decide what matters, what's overrated, and what actually drives results at scale. And that immediately positions you as the authority. You want to be seen as the authority. If people don't see you as above them, they're just not going to buy from you, because they feel like they know more than you, okay? Number 2, it simplifies complex decisions. So high-level entrepreneurs don't want depth, they want clarity. Tier rankings compress years of experience into a visual decision-making shortcut for busy operators. Or even if you are targeting beginners, they're more likely to take action because they're actually getting value from that said video. Number 3 is overcome objections without selling. So by ranking common tools, strategies, beliefs, objections, questions, you naturally neutralize objections before they ever get on the call, and the audience self-qualifies and shows up pre-sold, which is what you want and which is what your content should be doing. And number 4, it adds entertainment without sacrificing credibility. The tier system creates anticipation and retention. People stay to see what S tier versus F tier is. Even the high level buyers, they want to see what the best is, okay? And they want to see what the worst is. It's structured, clean, and easy to consume. So let me show you an example of this for my client, Rick. As I said, 3,600 views. Let me click on it. 1 second. Here we go.
Businesses to buy. Let's go. Laundromats, F tier. Even though a lot of people say they're great to buy, they're actually one of the worst businesses to buy. HVAC business, A tier. These are super profitable and easy to automate, leading you take home every profit every month while being free. Gyms, D tier. High churn and just a pain in the butt to manage in general. Car washes, I'm gonna put this as C tier. Health and wellness business, S tier. I bought one, it generates me 40 grand a month. Restaurants, D tier.
As you can see, what we did there as well is we added his credibility in. So what we did is we were like, this is the best business to buy, health and wellness, because it makes me 40k a month. So it adds the credibility in. It kind of shows a bit of social proof as well at the same time. But this is the kind of structure of the video. And by the way, we ideated, scripted, edited all of this for Rick. And this is what we do for him. But we've got another one cooking about what to, again, as I said before, what to say to a seller when reaching out to them. And this is a specific problem that his ideal clients are facing, okay? They don't know what to say to the seller on the first reach out. And we're solving that problem with the tier list ranking, okay? So that will cook if you do it for your industry. So the next format is the podcast clip strategy. Now, you're probably wondering, oh, I don't go on podcasts. Don't worry, if you don't go on podcasts, you can still utilize this 100%. But the podcast format involves either clipping up a podcast you've been on or creating content that looks like you're on a podcast. And if you don't actively go on podcasts, you can set up yourself like you're on a podcast speaking to someone. And this approach works super well for, again, 6 to 8 figure entrepreneurs, because podcast style short form content solves 3 critical problems simultaneously. Attention, trust, and volume. So first of all, it captures attention because it feels like dropping into a real conversation mid-thought, creating a pattern interrupt that makes people stop scrolling. You need to make people stop scrolling, otherwise they're not going to stay on the video, they're not going to watch at all, okay? So this is very important because they're used to seeing, when they're scrolling, they're used to seeing talking head videos, they're used to seeing entertaining ones without sound, but when they see a podcast clip, they're going to be like, oh, okay, this is interesting, let me stay on, okay? They're on a podcast, they have a bit of credibility, of course they're gonna say something good, so this is what makes them stop. It also builds trust, so it shows how you think without heavy editing. You can add heavy editing if you want, or gimmicks. It builds credibility fast for high ticket offers, okay? And it generates volume, so it creates scalable content that feels closer to a sales call than a scripted reel without pressure, because it feels like a natural conversation. Okay, so this is why podcast clips outperform traditional content. The attention advantage. Most short form content feels rushed, jump cuts, loud captions, people trying too hard to be interested in the first 3 seconds. Podcast clips feel different. They feel like you've dropped into a real conversation mid-thought, as I just said. And again, that pattern interrupts alone makes people stop scrolling because their brain switches from entertainment mode to listening mode. It feels calm, not chaotic, and that's rare on social media, okay? So you are literally creating the biggest pattern interrupt. When someone scrolls, they're like, okay, oh shit, podcast clip, let me watch this. And when someone sees you talking for 30 to 90 seconds without, again, you can have heavy editing, that doesn't matter as much, but in a natural conversation instead of scripted, they subconsciously assume confidence and authority. Okay, podcasts show how someone thinks, not what just they say. Pauses, tone, how you explain things, That's what actually builds the credibility fast, especially for high ticket offers. So podcast clips are very, very good. And it's what we actually do for the 7-figure agency scaling to $1 million a month. And let me just show you one of these pieces of content. So again, this is ideated, scripted and edited by us, just so you know. And if you want us to do this for you, well, you only have to do one thing one time a week, which is press record. That's all you do. We take care of the rest while getting you high ticket, high intent leads and high ticket clients through your content. Click the first link in the description, book in a call, we can speak in more detail. But let me show you this.
A lot of the times when people think of podcasts, all they think are these big name, celebrity level podcasts. Well, personally, where I've seen people get the most success is going after these hyper targeted podcasts that don't have millions of Instagram followers, YouTube subscribers, but they have really dialed in message to a really dialed in audience. So it's a very hyper targeted approach where they're primarily on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and there's thousands, tens of thousands of people there. A lot of the times when people think of
So as you can see, the whole point of this content is to also shift beliefs, because Devin literally said here the biggest misconception about podcasts. Okay, but what basically Devin helps people get on podcasts. Okay, so that's why it's about podcasts as well as being on a podcast. But as you can see, even if you don't go on podcasts, you can just set up like this. Devin was actually on a podcast, but you can just set up something like this from a different angle, so the camera angle's facing to the side and it makes you look like you're speaking to someone. You can do this, okay? And just have someone ask you a question and boom, you can turn it into like a natural conversation. Really simple. But that's the podcast format, which is performing very well. Lots of other people are utilizing this as well, even if they aren't going on podcasts, as I said. Last but not least is the format 3, which I like to call myth versus truth content. And this is a very, very good format because it's a myth versus truth. So you're literally shifting the beliefs of your ideal clients in one video like that. You're overcoming objections, you're answering any questions and concerns at the same time, and it just does everything your content needs it to do. So basically what this is so you're going to have someone ask you a question and all you're going to say is myth or truth. So this is, again, very good because you can specifically tailor these questions to completely shift your ideal client's thoughts, overcome objections, and answer any questions and concerns. An example would be, let's just do an example for buying a business, again, buying a business coach. An example, a big belief that they have is, oh, I have to have a load of money to buy a said business. And you completely shift this belief. You can get someone to ask you a question saying, you need a lot of money to buy a business. Then you can say, myth. You don't need a lot of money to buy a business because you can utilize seller financing. You can utilize a SBA loan, for example, in the US. But yeah, that's an example of the type of content. And that was just an example, by the way. You can do it for any industry. But you can just get someone to ask you questions and you say myth and truth. You can make this even more engaging by actually having like a piece of paper, for example, with the said thing on it. So if it's like, if it's a fitness example, dumbbell curls are the best bicep exercise. You can do a dumbbell curl and you can say myth, for example, okay? But what I want you to realize with this type of content is don't expect it to go super viral, but expect it to totally shift any biased belief your ideal client has, so they become pre-sold and buy from you, okay? And it could go viral, don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of these go viral, but again, as a 6 to 8 figure entrepreneur, your goal shouldn't be virality, okay? Because you want to attract high ticket clients and you want to increase your show rate, you want to increase your close rate, you want to lower ad spend if you're running ads, and you just want content to add fuel to the fire. And if you create this type of content, it will do that. So quickly, let me run you through why this kind of myth versus truth format works, and then I'll show you an example. It extracts your authority. So you've built results. This format turns your lived experiences into content without needing case studies or flexing. You're simply saying, here's what I thought at X and why it was wrong, okay? Number 2, it teaches you without over-explaining. So your audience doesn't need step-by-step tactics. This format allows you to share high-level thinking, principles, and decision-making, exactly what premium buyers care about, and exactly what high-intent buyers care about. Because again, most people are on social media to be entertained, but you can actually add value to that entertainment, which will get them to buy from you. So number 3, it attracts conversations, not just views, okay? So when you create this type of content, again, you are shifting the belief of your ideal client. And this is going to attract conversations. It's not just going to get views, okay? It's going to attract people who are high intent, who have these beliefs, who have these objections, who actually want to change and will buy from you. And number 4, it positions strategic thinking. So anyone can show how to, very few can explain why something doesn't work at scale. And this format signals that you think in leverage, systems, and trade-offs. So this type of content is very valid and you should definitely create it. I'll put a version on the screen right now so you can see what I'm speaking about. Again, this is ideated, scripted, edited by us.
Rick, I have a couple questions for you. Is debt dangerous?
Debt is only dangerous when you can't pay it off. When you buy a business, you use the cash flow to pay that debt off.
Is a business the best way to produce wealth?
Most of America's millionaires actually bought a business. They didn't start one.
Does buying a business give you guaranteed cash flow?
This is facts, but only if you pick the right business to buy. That's why you need someone who has the experience before you make that purchase.
Out of curiosity, do you have to run the business yourself?
Nah, this is not true. The team who hired already knows the ropes and the automations can take over on most sides.
Do you have to be rich to buy a business?
This is the biggest lie out there. You can use SBA loans or seller financing to buy the business and use a percentage of the cash flow it makes to pay off those loans. You're probably wondering how to actually buy a business now. So if you comment list, I will send you a free guide on how to buy a business from scratch with 0 of your own money down.
So I hope you got some value from this video. Again, these are the 3 formats. They will be in the second link in the description. If you are a 6 to 8 figure entrepreneur and want your Instagram content fully done for you, where all you do is press record for an hour a week, get it while getting high ticket clients, lowering your ad spend, increasing your show rate and close rate, and becoming the go-to authority within your industry, these formats provide the foundation for that transformation. But if you don't want to do all this yourself, you can book in a call with the first link in the description and we can do it completely for you. Completely done for you, okay? But again, I hope you got some value from this video. If you do want to learn how to increase your show rate, your close rate, lower ad spend, everything like that, and get high ticket clients through your Instagram content, this video right here in the middle, right here, it should be right in the middle of the screen right now, will help you do so. So go watch that. Appreciate you watching and peace.